I will call the
Recording in
meeting
progress.
to order. Great, and we're now recording the meeting. Uh, like I said, 6:30, call the meeting to order. The only substantive item on our agenda today is a continuation on a public hearing on conditional use review and request for waiver at 62 Union. Before we get there, any changes to the agenda that anyone has? Hearing none. Public comment. Anyone got any public comment?
There's no
Hearing none.
public.
Oh, good.
Oh, sorry. I was just saying there's no public here other than the applicant's representative.
You gotta ask the question, man. It's a statute. The applicant could have a lot of thoughts on other stuff. So, that said, I would entertain a motion to approve the minutes of the previous meeting, which are all in your packets.
I'll motion.
Got a motion. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
From Matt. All in favor, say aye or raise your hand.
Aye.
All opposed? All abstaining? Looks like that motion carries. The previous meeting's minutes are adopted. So we are now on to a continuation of the hearing we heard at our April meeting. We are in the middle of considering this application. We postponed it for a month to allow the applicant a little bit of time to talk to the adjoiner, maybe rethink where the proposed structure is going to be on the property, and interested to hear any updates you have. So go for it.
Awesome.
Sorry, Greg. Right before that, Kevin, I don't know if we need to swear him in again, or if he's still under the same oath from the previous.
The way they do it when they recall witnesses in court is to remind you that you're still under oath from last time. Is that good for you?
That works for me.
Sweet. Go for it.
Is there any chance you could bring up the new plan?
The new plan? Sure. I've got all iterations
Yeah.
up here. So
I think the newest one would be fine.
Yep.
So we have reworked the plan pretty much, I think, consistent with what Herb was asking last time. And so I also reached out to Herb yesterday and had a very good conversation with him. I think by his absence tonight, he was very happy. He was all excited and asked how he could help, and pizza parties were offered and such like that. But so I actually do think we pulled away from even asking for a waiver now, considering we no longer are in the setbacks with anything, the driveway, the building, or anything like that. We are still at about 50% coverage, like we were on the last one. It might have actually gone down just slightly. We still have the same, or even, the same amount of parking spaces on site, 7. So this is just a little bit different of an approach to what we were suggesting. It's the exact same layout of the building, so all the architecture will stay exactly the same. We are not asking Herb for any money. It just didn't seem necessary. We'll find it in other ways. I do think we are going to forego putting up a fence, which I told Herb yesterday, and probably reduce the landscaping that we anticipated. As well as I'm hoping that I can work with the town engineering and town DPW to try to make some of these interconnections for both sewer and water a little bit easier, maybe not have to dig up the road, which could definitely reduce the cost to put those in. So that's kind of where it stands right now. I actually think I see her walking in through the window right now, so I guess we can wait a little bit until he comes in, but I think those were the big things that we talked about last time. The only other thing that I know you guys were concerned about was the tree that was on the western property line. I think now that we aren't really digging that foundation up, we will have to demolish the old garage. We haven't decided if we are also demolishing the slab. We might just use it as part of the parking. I think we're going to evaluate that tree as we do the demolition and work on it. And coordinate with the neighbor as needed if that tree needs to come down. I'd rather see it stay up, but I don't know how much of the tree structure is dependent on our structure. So I think we'll just evaluate that during construction. So I think those are really the only, I mean, it's a pretty big change from what we had last time, but again, I think we're kind of removed the request for waiver, and now this is just a request to have the detached cottage.
Got it. So this is now a conditional use only, and we've done this before. The reason, Eric, that we need to approve it as a conditional use is that the owner is not living in the primary residence. If the owner were, this would be just an approval at your level. Is that right?
For this project, no, actually, because the property is developed with a 2-unit structure currently, it would not qualify for the, even if the owner did live there, it would not qualify for the administrative approval of an accessory dwelling unit.
Got it. Unless they somehow lived in both sides of the duplex.
That's correct.
Okay, great. So I think we've got an update on the application as it currently stands from the applicant. I understand that an adjoining property owner has joined us. I'm hopeful to hear that everything's chill and you love it and everything has worked out, but you tell us.
Yeah, it was a surprise to me. Herb Sigurdsson, and I don't know if I have to be sworn in or whatever, but.
You're still sworn in from last time.
Okay, very good. I don't like to swear too much anyway, so didn't want to repeat.
You do have the option to affirm. You technically don't have to swear if you don't want to.
Okay. Yeah, so I got a call the other night, and it surprised me that they were considering or are going with a different plan, and definitely makes my life a lot less stressed. Let's put it that way. I'm glad to be able to have the building, that's going to be put up, shifted considerably over to the side. So I think it'll be a heck of a lot better. It'll still be close to my garage when I'm going to rebuild the garage, I think, but not my house so much. So that's good. So I appreciate it,
Great.
as far as the owners. So, yeah. So it seems pretty good to me.
All right. Any questions from the DRB for either the applicant or anyone else? Seeing Matt.
I'll mention something just real quick. They brought up the tree along the property line, and I brought up the concerns about that last meeting. My concerns were primarily about that tree's impact as the structure in its original placement. Seeing as that tree technically is on the other property and it would be affecting the building as it was originally proposed. I have no concerns. I hope you're able to save the tree, but at this point it is kind of a moot point. So
Great. I have no concerns are like my favorite 4 words in the English. Any other questions from folks on the DRB?
I guess I have just a quick question. So is the intention that you would demolish a portion of the slab to build your new foundation?
So we would have to, I think they're addressing demolishing probably the entire slab. We would definitely have to demolish the portion of the slab which would be under the building. It would just not be, it would not support the building correctly to kind of use that portion. The only portion we're thinking about keeping, because you probably could use it for parking, is saw cutting it and just using it as a parking lot instead of repaving it. And I don't know right now if that is going to be the case or not, but it does kind of, that could be a cost-saving measure, is to saw cut the areas that we don't want to use and just use the concrete as parking.
Got it. Thank you.
But we do have to remove those other areas because of coverage. So everything shown in green will be taken out.
All right. Any other questions, comments, concerns? We're good? Great. So what's going to happen from here is we have technically a couple of other items on our agenda, just updates and other business that the DRB has to discuss. It's a public hearing, so if you want to stick around and listen to that, you're welcome to. But we will, after the meeting adjourns, go into deliberative session, and then our decision is issued in writing within 45 days of this meeting. Eric will let everyone know when that's available. But the rest of this meeting is just going to be, normal DRB business, talking about what's going on with the city, what upcoming applications we have, that sort of thing. So with that, I will move on to city updates. Eric, do we have any city updates?
Thank you, guys.
Thanks a lot. Yes, we do. Before we do that, just for procedural purposes, I would like to read through the list of exhibits that will be included for the record.
Go for it.
I know how much you enjoy this portion, Kevin, so thank you for bearing with me.
Starting the Hamilton soundtrack in my head.
Exhibit A will be the zoning application, including the project narrative, existing and proposed site plans, and the architectural layouts. Exhibit B will be the notice of the DRB's public hearing posted at 62 Union Street. Exhibit C will be photos of that posting. Exhibit D will be the public hearing notice from the DRB for this conditional use. Exhibit E, the written notice in the paper. Exhibit E will be proof of publication of that notice. Exhibit F is a memo to the adjacent property owners notifying them of the meeting. Exhibit G will be the list of persons receiving that notification. Exhibit H is the agenda from the April 21st meeting of the DRB. Exhibit I is a memo to you all from me about the conditional use standards. Exhibit J is a memo on the Development Review Board, memo to the Development Review Board providing information on the waiver request, which is no longer necessary. Exhibit K is the sign-in sheet from the April 21st meeting.
Thank you.
Exhibit L is the agenda from tonight's meeting. Exhibit M is the updated site plan provided by the applicant. Exhibit N will be the cost estimate provided by the applicant. And Exhibit O will be tonight's sign-in sheet from this meeting. Those will be the exhibits included with the record.
Great. On to
city updates. I have two updates for everyone, just so that folks know the new city manager, Elaine Wong, started on Monday. It was her first day, so if you're around City Hall, if you see her around town, please say hello. I'm sure she's actually, I believe, at a Housing Commission meeting tonight, but will probably attend a future DRB meeting to introduce herself. Also, this Saturday, City Council will hold their annual policy and priority strategy meeting. That will be from starting around, I think it starts at 9 a.m. And then it'll be at the Winooski Senior Center. So that is a public meeting. If you're interested in attending, feel free to attend that meeting as well. And those are the two primary updates that I have.
Great. I have a personal city update in that the city in which I reside will be changing in August. So that's my official, we found a house in Burlington and we're moving update. So I will, unfortunately, I don't think be eligible to sit on any, I guess there's like a couple of boards I could still technically sit on in Winooski. I don't think this is one of them.
I think that's
so. Eric, you
Congratulations.
can take that. What's that?
Congratulations.
Yeah, we're excited. We're like, nothing at all was for sale in Winooski. Not even like, the right house. Like it felt like nothing at all was for sale here. So we were unfortunately forced to move to Burlington. But Eric, take that into account when we're doing the updates for July and let me know how that should play out. But I guess there's one more meeting until that July changeover with the city council, right?
That's correct, yes. Reappointments are typically done in June for terms beginning in July with the fiscal year.
Yeah, and do you,
Great.
maybe you don't have this readily available, but do you know when we're all kind of due for reappointment?
If you give me 1 minute, I should be able to tell you. 1 minute or less. So, for you all, appointments that will be coming due, they're expiring in June 30th will be Caitlin, Harland, yours expires, and David. So for you three, I will be reaching out prior to that expiration to see if you're still interested in being considered for reappointment. As you all know, appointment to the boards and commissions of the city are at the pleasure of council. So just because you're currently serving does not mean that you will get reappointed, but an interest in being reappointed is always beneficial as we go forward with those discussions.
Yes.
So, but yes, I will reach out to the three of you specifically, I guess the two of you that are on the call specifically to gauge interest in reappointment.
Speaking of that June meeting, do we have anything for that June meeting?
We do actually, and that was what I was going to mention under other business. We have our next meeting is scheduled for June 16th. That would be our next regular meeting. We do have the preliminary subdivision review for 165 East Spring Street. You may recall seeing that as a sketch plan several months ago. Actually, I think it was towards the end of last year, calendar year, that we saw the sketch plan for that. A 2-lot subdivision, right, basically right almost at the corner of Hood Street and East Spring Street, just basically one lot in.
Right.
So that's coming in as a preliminary plan. There will be then a follow-up meeting after that for the final plan review. So there'll be at least two more meetings on that project. But yes, we do have a hearing warned for that June 16th meeting.
Great. Anything else for today's meeting? Until we go into deliberative session, which I think is a different Zoom link.
It is, yes. I have a different Zoom link for that. For those of you that are on Zoom.
I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
All right, we've got a motion. Do we have a second? Second. All in favor? Aye. Whatever. All opposed? All abstaining? All right, we are adjourned. Eric, can you just circulate that Zoom link for deliberative and we'll be back in like 2 minutes?